It's Insecure Sunday, baby. I said that's on the timeline already, but tonight is one of my favorite episodes. One of 5 faves this season. I got 5s. I don't usually have 5 favorite episodes, but tune in. It is directed by Ava Berkowski, written by Jason Liu, and live tweet with the cast and crew as always using hashtag InsecureHBO. See you tonight.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Mark Dark, and I'm back with another video. If you're new, if you love Insecure, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like the video, and leave your theories, comments, everything down below. Now tonight we're going to be talking about Insecure Season 5, Episode 3. This is the recap. Now I'm going to try my best to focus on all the key points in this episode. If I miss anything, you guys let me know down below. The title of the episode is called Pressure OK, and your boy Lawrence, man, he was going through it. Now the description for the episode reads, eager to embrace newfound responsibilities, one of Issa's exes find himself torn between two places. So of course this episode is about Lawrence and what happened to Lawrence after him and Issa had that final conversation at the end of episode 1. And I really did enjoy this episode. It was so real. We got to see what Lawrence was going through as far as his relationship with Condola, the baby, in different perspectives, especially for like if you was a new parent or whatever, and co-parenting and how difficult it really is. Now, of course, the episode, it begins exactly where it left off for Lawrence in episode 1. Issa pretty much tells him it's not going to work. He understands this. Then we fast forward, we see Lawrence, he's moving to San Francisco, and this is a tough journey for him because he is by himself and he has, his kid living in LA. So now he has to manage all of this. But as of right now, he has not had the baby yet. He's enjoying his work, you know what I'm saying, taking on new tasks, doing what he has to do to be a successful person, which Lawrence always does. Then your boy Lawrence, he goes on this date with this nice young lady. Seems like he's having a good time. Everything seems like it's going good. All of a sudden, your boy Lawrence gets a text from Condola pretty much telling him that the baby is here. And it's kind of throwing him off guard because he's like, really? Like, okay, through a text? You know what I'm saying? Now, he tells his date, like, look, I got to go. You know what I'm saying? I just, have my son. I got to get up out of here. It didn't really seem like she cared. I don't know what this girl was thinking, but she didn't have no concern at all. I guess she probably wanted to continue to be on that date, but Lawrence did pay for the date and he got up out of there, headed straight to the hospital. And then of course we get to Condola. Her family is there. Your girl Keke Palmer, she is playing Condola's sister. Her mother Jackie, she is there as well. And man, they're looking at Lawrence like he's a deadbeat dad, like you should have been here when the baby was born. But like I said, Lawrence, he's in San Francisco, so him being there, it's probably not going to happen like that. Now, Keke Palmer's character plays Kyra, Condola's sister, and she does not like Lawrence at all. Does not like him at all, just based off what she's seen. She doesn't feel like he is there at all, and that, he needs to be there to support the child more and be there for her sister. Now, Lawrence is very happy. He's able to hold his son, and he's starting to realize, like, man, this is really serious. I actually have a kid. Now I have to step up to the plate and make sure I am here for my child. And of course, Condola, she's named the baby Mustafa. Elijah Mustafa Walker. I'm looking like, really? All I can think about was Mufasa. Of course, Chad, he was making jokes like Mufasa. But we know that Lawrence, he wants to make sure that he's a part of his son's life. Of course, he tells Chad that everybody was looking at him like he was a deadbeat dad. He ain't having that. He is going to be here every step of the way, and he's going to be a good father. So Lawrence, he has a game plan. As Chad told him, everybody has a game plan until they get hit in the face. A Mike Tyson quote that Lawrence is going to have to learn from. He's going to have to, of course, take those hits and continue to fight on. Now, I don't know who this doctor is. This dude had me cracking up. He's talking about they be getting in ugly babies and stuff like that. I'm looking like, dude, are you kidding me? I mean, dude was on one, man. Now, apparently the baby has lost a little bit of weight. Lawrence is asking all these questions. Of course, Condola, she's trying to tell him everything is good as far as breastfeeding and things like that. But of course, they are both new parents. They're going to have certain concerns. Some concerns are going to come from Lawrence as well as Condola. Now, Lawrence, he wants to, go to his church with his parents and stuff like that to get the baby baptized. Condola has already set things up with a church that her parents got set up. So now Lawrence is like, man, you already set it up without talking to me. And he realizes like, okay, she is doing a lot of things for the baby without my input on certain things. So of course he is feeling some type of way. But I guess in Condola's perspective, she's like, well, I'm here with the baby 24/7. You fly in when you can. I'm always with the baby. So I'm going to make sure I'm making these appointments, and I'm also doing what I got to do to take care of our child. Now, after the baptism, the families, they all come together. They're having a good meal. Lawrence, he goes and he talks to his parents. Of course, they didn't like the baptism. They're like, look, we have to go to our church because they barely sprinkled some water on this kid. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to have to redo this over. So once again, we're getting different perspectives. One side is saying we need to do this. The other side is saying we need to do that. Now, Lawrence, he is telling Condola he's going to, pop up on the holidays and he wants to take the son for a week. Now, of course, being a new mother, Condola, she is hesitant. She's like, well, maybe we can talk about this when we get a little bit closer, because the last thing that you want to do is let your child go away for a whole week, especially being a new parent. It is a scary thing, right? But I understand from her perspective and his perspective as well, because he's like, look, I want to take care of my child. I got this. I want my son to be around, his family. Now, Lawrence's uncle, Ronnie, this dude is on one. Now, Lawrence mentions that his father wants to see, if the baby has a floater's foot. He wants to teach the baby how to swim. And then Uncle Ronnie's like, well, you can find out, just throw him in the deep end. And I'm looking like, really? Like, are you crazy? Like, this dude had me cracking up in this episode. Of course, Lawrence like, look, man, we got to go talk. Now, as I told you guys, your girl Condola, her family, they ain't really having it. They're not really feeling, I guess, the way Lawrence is moving. They don't want to necessarily let the child go for a whole week. It is a scary thing for them, well, at least for Condola, right? Like I said, it makes sense as a new parent, allowing your child to go somewhere and deep down inside you don't really trust it. Now, Lawrence is very busy with work, and I knew this was going to happen. I mean, you trying to go back and forth from San Francisco back to LA every week. I mean, this is going to be entirely too much pressure and strain on your body. I mean, at the end of the day, you're not going to be very consistent at doing this. Eventually, you're going to start slipping up. And then he told Condola, like, look, he's been very busy. He's not going to be able to come down this time. And of course, Condola was very upset because in her heart, she's like, man, I needed that extra support. And this is all she wants, that support system. Of course, her sister, Kiki, Kyra in the episode, she's pissed off. She's like, look, man, if that was her, she would have went off on Lawrence. I believe she even called Lawrence Ashy Larry. I'm looking like, man, she going in on Lawrence, calling him Ashy Larry from the Chappelle Show. I mean, your girl Kiki Palmer definitely had me cracking up in this episode. But she did tell Condola, don't worry, she will, of course, watch her son. Everything is going to be good. Now, we know it's going to be a birthday party. It's Derek and Tiffany's daughter's birthday, Simone, the first birthday party. So now Lawrence and Condola, they're going to agree to go together. And, everything seems good at first. They get there, they're talking to Derek, Tiffany, your girl Kelly, she pops up as well. And then we get to this guy right here. Look, Pepper Pig, not Peppa with the A. We talking about with the ER, a strong ER. And this dude was high as a kite. And when I saw this pig, I already knew what time it was. I already knew this pig was going to cause some issues. Now, Lawrence, he's talking to Kelly, having a conversation with her. And he's like, okay, so how are you? How are everybody? How is everybody? Y'all know what he was trying to do. He was trying to get some information on Issa. At least that's how I saw it. I was believing that he was trying to see if Kelly was going to tell him anything about Issa, but she really didn't say anything too much. She just said, look, all my people is good. Meanwhile, Pepper Pig is getting blazed. He is getting towed up to the floor up. And I'm looking like, okay, Kelly, you're going to have to go get your cousin, because this at a kid's party is going to look very, very strange. Now, your boy Lawrence, he takes, his son to go get something to eat. and apparently he fed the baby salads. Condola did not like this at all. Lawrence did not think this was a big of a deal. He said after 4 months, babies are allowed to, of course, eat salads. That's what the doctor said. Condola, she's like, well, you got to gradually do that because you don't know if your baby or our baby could be allergic to certain, things, which is understandable. Like I said, especially when you're a new parent, you got your certain perspectives on certain things, but I understand where Condola was coming from. Moms do not play, especially new moms. They don't play about their, newborn kids. Plain and simple. They don't play at all, and they're very, very sensitive to certain things. So it's very understandable for where she's coming from. At the same time, Lawrence, in his perspective, he's feeling like, man, I didn't do nothing wrong. I was just trying to do the right thing, right? And like I tell you, at the end of the day, it comes down to this communication, talking about certain things and being there for each other. Of course, Derek has to take Lawrence to the side and tell him, look, you got to approach this in a different way. Trust me, I learned a lot from, me and Tiffany's relationship. You got to approach this a certain way. You got to let that negativity stuff die off. You got to be positive. At the end of the day, like I was telling you guys, in this episode, it was really like a perspective type of thing, because if you thinking as Lawrence, you like, man, I ain't really do nothing wrong. I'm trying to feed my son. What's the big deal? But if you thinking like Condola, it's like, well, I am a new mother and I'm going to make sure I do whatever I got to do to protect my child. And we're going to take this step by step. You're not going to rush into solid foods like that. And, that's her perspective. She's a mama bear. She's with this kid all the time, 24/7. So she's going to be very, very protective of her child. Like I said, you got to look at the certain perspectives in this episode. It makes a lot of sense. This episode was actually so realistic to how things actually go in our society today. It's crazy. Now, on one end, we got your boy Lawrence. He's kicking it with girls, chicks, having a good old time. On the other end, you got your girl Condola taking care of the baby, struggling, very tired. Your boy Lawrence clapping cheeks. He's living his best life. He gets to fly to LA when he gets time to see his son. Everything is good for him, right? Now, of course, he's coming back down and he's like, look, how about we just try, a night in LA first? You're telling me that you don't necessarily trust it. So how about a night in LA and we can see how that works first before we do the big travel thing. Of course, Lawrence comes there and, baby is crying. Condola's like, look, I'm just going to be honest. I don't trust you. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust this at all. I'm very uncomfortable. The two start getting into a major argument. Lawrence is like, look, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to do whatever I got to do to get my son. And I'm letting you know that right now. He was very pissed off at Condola. He's like, look, I'm tired of you doing everything without me. Pretty much, in his perspective, he felt like she is making all the decisions. She is trying to play him like he cannot do anything right. In her perspective, she's like, well, I'm with the baby all the time. I'm going to make sure I am here for my child with or without you. You get to do what you want to do in San Francisco, fly down and, take care of your child every now and then fly back and live your life. So the two have major disagreements, man. But very realistic, right? Now, Lawrence, he starts to think about this as he's on his flight back to San Francisco, makes a call to Condola, and he's like, man, this ain't working. You know what I'm saying? This is not working. And this is an actual positive thing by him calling her, apologizing, and telling her, look, we have to come to a compromise. We may not like each other, and that's cool, but we have to figure out a way to raise our son the right way. We have to come to an agreement eventually, right? Like I said, a compromise. At the end of the day, in this episode, I saw a lot of different things that I see all the time. And, having a new child is very, very serious. Very serious. And as I told you guys, Lawrence, in his heart, he felt like he was prepared to do certain things. And as a new parent in general, you feel like you are prepared to do all these things right. But then when you have that child, all types of things go wrong. And you like, man, I messed up here, I messed up there. Anybody say anything about what you're doing, you take it to heart because it is something very serious to you. But at the end of the day, the best thing that you can do is communicate with, the other parent if the two are just co-parenting. If you're not together, it will make things a little bit tougher, but by communicating, things can work out way better, even easier if you wasn't communicating the right way. You can't be negative, like Derek was saying. You got to have a positive approach on this and understand, the other person's perspective. And in this episode, that's exactly what I watch. I understand both perspectives. At the end of the day, it's still a difficult conversation. It is still a difficult task, raising a kid. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy that Condola, the actual actress, she had a kid right before season 5, I believe. So she was already in the zone. You know what I'm saying? She had the mother weight on her from the baby. You can see it, but she was already in the zone. Like, okay, it is what it is. We going right into it. So I commend her for, filming this season and doing what she had to do. And, for her to be able to have those parallels from acting to actual real life and to do this the way she did it, it was excellent. But you guys let me know, man, what do you think about episode 3? Lawrence and Condola was going through it. Hopefully they can fix things down the line, man. But what I did appreciate about this episode was they actually kept it real between the two. And it's good that both parents, they want to work this out, because some parents, man, it gets ugly. It gets very ugly. Child support court. It gets very ugly with parents, and you already know what I'm talking about. But you guys let me know down below how you felt about the episode. I really did enjoy it. And I will catch you guys for episode 4. But thank you guys once again. Let me get up on out of here, man. It's your boy Mark Dark. I'm out. Peace.